fight could really be a major fight that a lot of people are looking to see. When did you know that?
When the people start talking, and obviously everybody around try to make this fight. I say, look, needs to be big.
This fight doesn't happen if you're never born, right? You made this fight happen. Why this fight?
Not me, it is who behind me.
I like Crawford, I get right to it.
Why?
Because he's like the first time you went from regular TV, which you've been doing a long time, to 3D. He's different. Really, that's the simplest way I can say it.
The showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez became nothing short of a global spectacle. Even Canelo acknowledged that the magnitude of the fight was impossible to overlook. Though he initially declined the challenge, the overwhelming demand and worldwide attention turned this clash into a historic occasion. Fans everywhere tuned in, proving this wasn't just another boxing match, it was an international event that captured the sport's biggest stage.
Fight. You know, I take this fight because you can see how big is this fight, no? The beginning when they say, hey, you thinking about fight Crawford, I say, never thinking about that. But you can realize how big is this fight, no? Mexican, always Mexican versus USA is big. And two of the best pound for pound. And I think this fight is huge and means a lot for me.
When did you realize, when did the moment hit you that this fight can really, really be big? This fight can really be a major fight that a lot of people are looking to see. When did you know that?
When the people start talking, and obviously everybody around try to make this fight. I say, look, needs to be big, right? Because Netflix, Riyadh season, everybody interested in this fight. So that's when I realized how big is this fight.
Crawford felt like initially you needed some convincing because you thought it was a lose-lose proposition, whereas you're fighting the smaller guy, and if you won, you wouldn't really get any credit for it. Was that what you were thinking?
Yeah, but if you think well, I've been in that position before.
Saudi advisor and chairman Turki Al-Sheikh reflected after the fight that the night was about far more than just boxing. It was about delivering a spectacle that fans might never see again in their lifetime. He stressed how special the moment was, particularly with the chance that this could be Terence Crawford's last time performing on such a grand stage. For Al-Sheikh, bringing this matchup to the world meant more than a sporting event. It was about honoring two icons at the peak of their craft and creating a piece of boxing history that fans will remember for generations to come.
My country and my boss, you know? But really, if you look at as a business, this fight will not happen if we are not involved as Gia, Riyadh season, Saudi Arabia. This is truth. Because even with what the relationship with Netflix, and we are very happy about it, still this fight costs more and more.
Speaking of cost more and more, for everyone who watches it, everyone already has a Netflix account, so they're not paying anything extra for it.
Yeah.
You, however, are the guy who just paid hundreds of millions of dollars for a pay-per-view fight that you wanted to see. So people like to get their money's worth. What do you want to see from this fight?
First, not what I want to see, what all the people around the world, and you are fans of boxing, want to see. It's taken too long, but thanks God, without the support behind me from my government, my leaders, the Crown Prince and the vision, and without the love of the fans, we will stop not complete. This is what pushes us. This kind of fight, special Canelo Crawford, I want to explain it to you exactly why it is important and the fight of the century. Canelo is the biggest name in boxing now, and Crawford undefeated and have the chance to be undisputed for the third time. Maybe this is the last fight for Crawford, and for Canelo, it's mean a lot for his fan in North America and South America and all the world. He doesn't want to get beating from guy getting up 2-3 weight.
Trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas, speaking alongside ESPN's Stephen A. Smith, had been full of praise for Terence Crawford even before the first bell rang. Atlas used a vivid comparison, calling Crawford the boxing version of moving from 3D to digital, a way to highlight his rare sharpness and advanced skill level. In Atlas's view, Crawford's calmness, accuracy, and ability to adapt set him apart from nearly everyone else in the sport. Once Crawford entered the ring, that assessment hardly seemed like an exaggeration. His smooth switches between orthodox and southpaw, his quick reads of Canelo's movements, and his instant adjustments all reinforced why so many experts trusted his chances. Under the brightest spotlight against one of the era's most decorated fighters, Crawford's poise confirmed his evolution into a complete champion. For fans around the world, the performance wasn't just about punches and rounds. It captured exactly what Atlas had described, a fighter reshaping the way boxing is done at the very highest level, leaving viewers with the feeling they had witnessed a defining moment in the sport's history.
Back in the day, I used Betamax, and then that was good. It was cool. VHS, VCR, all that stuff. I still got them, actually. And all of a sudden, digital came around.
There you go.
He's digital, really. And I'm not knocking Canelo for all the people out there that, you know, want to pull their arrows now and start slinging shots at me. Hey, that's okay. That's fine. But I'm not knocking him. He's a good, solid guy. He's
Good,
tremendous.
solid guy. He's 63-2, Teddy, and has never been knocked out. And this guy that's fighting him is moving up 63-2.
Wait, what's his record?
63-2.
By who's accounting?
What do you mean by who's accounting? What are you trying to say?
What
That's
am
what
I
he
trying to say? There's a couple fights there that you might be able to argue there. Just a little bit.
Okay.
Sudden with Triple G. Just a little bit. A little bit, you know? I mean, you're insulting him a little bit. You know, like in a movie with De Niro.
I'm not insulting him. I'm pointing out the facts. But here's my point to you, Teddy. He's 63-2.
Lara, how about the Lara fight?
Hold on.
You want to go back further?
Okay. What about Madrimov with Crawford? I'm just saying.
No, he beat Madrimov. He didn't look the way we want him to look.
Okay.
Because stepping up for the first time to that weight class, he didn't look the way that we wanted to say, oh my God.
Well, stay with me. Let me ask you this question.
And Madrimov was not getting the credit for the kind of fighter that he was.
But let me ask you a question, Teddy Atlas. He didn't look the way you wanted him to look, moving up from 147 to 154. Now he's going from 154 to 2 weight classes to 168 against a guy who's 11-0 at the 168-pound limit and is entering his 12th fight undefeated and has never been knocked out.
Yeah, VHS digital. Did you worry about that jump when you went from VHS to digital? No, you just said we're at digital now, and it looks good. It looks really good, and you look great. No, you do.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You look tremendous.
But I'm just saying, listen, I believe in Crawford too, and I believe that Crawford is one of the top 2 fighters on the planet. But he is moving up 2 weight classes, and when people look at him going up against Canelo, here's what they're saying. He's got to keep his distance. He's got to hit, stick, and move. He can't stay in front of him.
Canelo Alvarez, the 4-division champion, stepped into this bout with his legacy already firmly established. Having spoken openly about his plans to retire within the next couple of years, Canelo has little left to prove. He's unified divisions, sold out arenas, and carved out a career that most fighters can only dream of. But against Terence Crawford, the motivation wasn't about collecting more titles. It was about legacy, about how history will remember him when the final chapter of his career is written. His performance in the ring reflected both his enduring skills and his determination to leave the sport as more than a champion, to be remembered among the greats who defined an era.
Think you'll box?
I don't know, maybe 2 more.
2 more years?
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to accomplish that you haven't yet accomplished?
I already accomplished everything.
So
and I did everything in boxing. Yeah. So I'm fine.
When this is all over for you, maybe in 2 years from now, what do you want to be remembered for?
One of the greatest fighters in the boxing history. That's why I'm here. That's why I start boxing. So I'm doing good.
I think you've already accomplished that.
Yeah.
Broadcaster and analyst Simon Jordan underlined just how rare Canelo Alvarez's career has been. From his teenage debut to becoming one of boxing's biggest global attractions, Canelo has consistently carried immense expectations and met them. Few fighters manage to stay at the top for over a decade, let alone across multiple weight classes, yet Canelo has done exactly that. This fight only reinforced those points. His composure in tense moments, his sharp adjustments, and his ability to exploit the smallest gaps reminded everyone why he is regarded among the sport's elite. Each round showcased not just raw talent, but years of experience and refinement. As younger challengers continue to emerge, Jordan's remarks highlighted how unusual Canelo's longevity really is. Maintaining dominance while facing bigger, fresher opponents is no small achievement, and it has set him apart as more than a champion, but a generational figure whose place in boxing history is already secure.
We went even deeper on it.
He did. Look, Canelo's achievements speak for themselves. You see, he's been around a long, long time, 20 years as a pro, and he's beat some of the best fighters out there for sure. I think that Paulie there is referring to him avoiding Benavidez, the fight that everyone's wanted to see and wanted to make. He's been picking and choosing his own opponents, and he has had some easy options. And he gets an opportunity to go in against Terence Crawford, or Terence Crawford gets the opportunity to go against him. Look, whatever way you want to look at it, I think that you cannot deny how good Canelo has been. He has adapted, he's had to adjust. He now, he stalks forward, he hunts his prey, but he single shots to the body, single shots to the head, and that's why I think timing for Terence Crawford here could be
Duke, me and Spencer have got Terence Crawford. How do you think this fight is won and lost?
Yeah, I think this fight is won for Crawford by sticking to his boxing, which he does beautifully. From the outset, I thought Crawford would win this fight, simply because
you and our game.
He's a great boxer, right? He switches from left to right effortlessly. He's a good stayer. He's got that spite that you need as a champion. What he's done has been done before, albeit, many, many moons ago with Sugar Ray Leonard, when he moved up and boxed Donnie Lalonde from welterweight to super middleweight, but he stopped off in between that and boxed Marvelous Marvin Hagler. So that's probably a harder route even still, but I feel that it's a stone difference. It's not really that much, not when you look at the bigger picture. A stone in weight is a lot of weight, of course it is. And sometimes you don't even want to give away a pound in weight, but the fact that he's putting on a stone of pure muscle.
UFC President Dana White, speaking both as a promoter and as a fan of the sport, labeled the showdown as the most significant boxing event of the modern era. With over 65,000 fans packing the venue, the atmosphere was electric from the very first bell. White described it not as just a fight, but as a full-scale war. Inside the ring, the intensity matched the hype. Every exchange triggered a roar from the crowd, and the fighters produced a spectacle that felt historic. This wasn't simply another championship bout. It was a cultural milestone in boxing history.
All I care about as the promoter of this event is that it's a good fight. Over 65,000 people are coming in for this fight live. Who knows how many are going to tune in around the world on Netflix, but what I want is when it's over, everybody turns off the TV or walks out of the arena and goes, I'm so glad I came to this fight.
That was a war.
I mean, I could sit here for an hour and break down the fight, both ways for both guys. But what I truly believe is because Crawford's moving up in weight and this legacy thing is so important to him, he's going to come at Canelo. And you know how Canelo is a counterpuncher and hits hard, and I think it's going to be a war.
Boxing analyst Showbiz. The adult reflected on the sparring footage between Canelo Alvarez and rising welterweight star Jaron Boots Ennis that circulated during the fight build-up. Though only brief clips were released, they've since taken on added meaning after Canelo's performance on the big stage. Those sessions weren't just routine practice. They served as a proving ground, with Canelo testing himself against one of the sport's most explosive young talents. Even in short glimpses, fans could see the sharpness and intensity he carried into camp. Ennis, already recognized as one of boxing's most dangerous prospects, pushed Canelo in ways that prepared him for the challenge ahead. After the fight, many revisited that sparring footage with fresh eyes, seeing it as part of the bigger picture of Canelo's preparation for one of the defining events of this era. Looking back, those rounds in the gym have become a rare piece of boxing history, a snapshot of greatness in the making.
Now legendary sparring session with Boots Ennis and Canelo Alvarez, all right? In looking at the footage we have, they show their feet. They don't really show much, and that's good, right? Whatever happens in sparring stays in sparring. You don't want too much revealed. But I think, you can pull something from the footage. Like, post-sparring session, you could just see how friendly Saul Canelo Alvarez and Boots Ennis are.
You? Yeah, appreciate you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Almost there. Yeah, almost time. Yeah.
It's mutual respect. You can just see, you know, and it just feels like Boots gave Canelo some good work. I think if Boots didn't, I think Canelo wouldn't respect him as much. I think Canelo would be like, get out of here. I mean, they couldn't even leave the gym. They kept saying bye to each other over and over and over again like it was a bromance.
You got my piece. Who say he needs some rounds? Huh? Who? Yeah, see, he'll come back and some work. Oh, yeah? You don't want... I'll see you tomorrow. And more, if they're scared, they run faster. If they are scared, more faster.
Bro, you know what that is. You know what that is. It's like if somebody whipped your ass, like, all right, then, boy, what? Wait.
Former super middleweight champion Caleb Plant, who knows firsthand what it's like to share the ring with Canelo, gave high praise to Terence Crawford before the fight. Plant noted that Crawford wasn't just skilled, but deceptively strong, a fighter whose power shouldn't be underestimated. Once the bout unfolded, those words rang true. Even at the higher weight class, Crawford's punches had enough snap to earn Canelo's respect. His mix of accuracy and surprising physical strength prevented the Mexican star from simply pressing forward as he often does. For many watching, it was proof that Crawford's power translated to the new division, and that he could hold his ground against one of boxing's most durable champions.
Tell you what I think is best for each fighter, and I think, you know, if I was able to give my advice to Terence, it would be, I think that he should box on the outside, or I think he should be all the way inside.
Wait, all the way inside? That would sound like, no, you don't want to be on the inside because, like, Canelo could land body shots.
Yeah, but Terence is a great inside fighter. He's ridiculously strong, and I think the most dangerous place for Terence to be would be in the mid-range, chilling this far from Canelo, at this distance, where Canelo is able to get a lot of leverage and be really explosive, as opposed to what I did to Trevor McCumbee, where I stepped all the way to the inside. And, you know, do you want to be this far away from a baseball bat, or do you want to be this far away from a baseball bat?
This, here.
Exactly.
They can't extend.
They can't gain the same momentum. And just fighting on the outside, sticking, moving, running around, moving around, using his legs for 12 rounds could be a lot. Where, as opposed to him being smart on the outside and moving, and then picking his times and getting all the way to the inside and going to work, and then going all the way back out, all the way back in, all the way back out. But I think chilling at the mid-range with Canelo could be dangerous.
Veteran fighter Gabriel Rosado had cautioned before the matchup that Terence Crawford would need to tread carefully against Canelo Alvarez. His warning centered on Canelo's long history of handling naturally bigger opponents, and that experience showed once the fight began. Canelo absorbed clean shots with composure and answered back with punishing counters, reminding everyone of his comfort in those situations. For Crawford, the task was finding ways to assert himself without getting drawn into dangerous exchanges. Rosado's words highlighted just how narrow the margins were in a contest where size, skill, and tactical discipline all played decisive roles.
Years, he's adapted to the weight. It's his natural weight. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Crawford gotta be real careful in the middle rounds.
And I've heard you say this before. Look, it doesn't matter if you're sparring with heavyweights in sparring.
Yeah.
If you're sparring with 68-pounders, 75-pounders in sparring. When you get clocked with them 10 ounces with no headgear on, it's a different game, a different story. Drop down on that for us for a second. What is so different about it? Is it just a jolt? Is it a shock? What's the difference?
It's different just because it's just the pop. You know what I'm saying? You know when you're sparring heavier guys, it really, it means something, but it's 16-ounce gloves and it's a headgear. So it's not the same effect. But, you know what I'm saying? And Crawford and Canelo being the same size right now and the same height, people go, oh, well, it's even.
That wraps up today's breakdown. Stay tuned for more updates, and we'll see you in the next video.